All right, looks like I'm live. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. My live, if you can see me, you can hear me. Please let me know you can see me and you can hear me. All right, this is four. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to PTM Hangout. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am the convener of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and community on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you are with me, sorry, we're starting about 2-3 minutes late. If I tell you my story today, you will run. So let's leave my story out today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you here? Do we have anyone with us yet? If you are here, please say something. Don't just be in the background. If you're watching us, if you're joining us on YouTube, please don't just hang in there. Let us know that you are with us on YouTube. Remember to like, remember to click on the subscribe button so that you will get alerted every time we go live. Okay, if you can see me, you can hear me clearly, do let me know in the comments. Okay, also give StreamYard access to see who the commenter is by there is a button somewhere where you click in the notification on Facebook, the notification on Facebook that says I'm going live on StreamYard. If you click it, you will give access. All right, so that when you drop your comments, we're able to see who is commenting, dropping the comments, and you can tell us where you're joining us from. I'm streaming from the capital city of Nigeria. I'm streaming from Abuja. All right, if you are here, don't just be here. Say something in the comments. You have a friend that needs to be here. Please run, and invite them right away. You have someone that needs to be a part of what we do here. Please don't hesitate to invite them and let them know that they are leaving too much on the table if they are not with us or in PTM, and if they don't show up during these live sessions. It is your opportunity to ask questions firsthand, and we can answer those questions firsthand. So today, oh God, today. So today we're going to be looking, it's another SOS, right? It says, help, my child is becoming entitled. All right, the entitlement mentality. So we're looking at the causes of entitlement mentality and how we can mitigate, or how we can help our children who already are cultivating or we're beginning to see this reflect in their life, how we can, stop it, or how we can help them, ditch that entitlement mentality. Okay, I wrote a post earlier on and I said, like it or not, it's one of those habits or one of those things we see in our children that is really, really irritating. No matter how permissive you are as a parent, entitlement will get to you eventually. Okay, no matter how permissive you are as a person, as a parent, at a point you will just get, you will get pissed. At a point you will get irritated if your children continue to be entitled. And another problem with entitlement is it doesn't have a ceiling, it doesn't have an end. So whatever it is that you are just letting slide right now, because somewhere in your head or somewhere you're able to give the excuse that, oh, she's just a child. She's just a child. You know how some of us give those excuses. He's just a child. You have your 4-year-old. He's just a child. This child becomes 8. He's just a child. At 10, they are just children. 12, they are children. 16, they are just children. 18 is just a child. 25, is he still just a child? Right? So even if at that point you say to yourself, oh, they're just children, by the time they get to 32 and they come at you with the same entitlement mentality that you have harbored, you have nursed, you have nurtured over the years, by the time they become 32, you will get irritated. Because at this point, how are you going to say they are just a child? I'm just a child. Do I hear you? Please, I can't see your name. You did not give StreamYard access Okay, so if you're with me, please, I can see you. Who wrote "I'm just a child"? Please just type your name in the comments. Since StreamYard is not going to show me your name, I like to talk to my people. I like to hail you personally, right? Good. So they're just a child. They're just a child until they become 32, and you cannot say they're just a child anymore. And then you find that your 40-year-old is still entitled. Your 40-year-old is still dependent on you, quote and unquote. Then at that point, you begin to get irritated because no, you cannot use the excuse that they are just children anymore. So yes, entitlement mentality is it's not a habit in our children, or it's not, it's not an attribute we see in our children that is really easy to stomach. At some point you will get irritated, at some point you will cry out, like, we just cried our help, my child is becoming entitled. So let me start by even saying, do you know that as parents we can actually be entitled ourselves? As a parent you can be entitled. I had this session, we had a session with the parents in the mental parent support program I think our webinar for the month of June. It was actually tagged the entitled parents. As a parent, do you know you can be entitled to? When you hear parents, okay, if you happen to be one of them, hi Abibo, yes, so husband in the house. Good afternoon, sir. It's good to have you. All right. So yes, as parents, you can be entitled also. Now, when you hear or when you have parents who say things like, I wish I could do more, I just don't have time. I am just too busy. We have to make ends meet. My work does not permit me. Parents, I have parents, I have parents that I even work close, that work closely, or parents, who come and first work with you, and the first question I usually ask the parents in the mentor parent support program is, how much time do you have? How much time are you willing to invest in your children every day? Because parenting is an ongoing concern, and parenting is one of those things that is the small drops that actually will make the ocean that will make your child become a wholesome human being. So parenting is not what you do in big doses, okay, intermittently. It's not what you do in big doses. It's not like intermittent fasting, right? Where you stay hungry for God 16 hours and then you come, I don't know how many hours. Sorry, don't come for me. I've never done it. All right. So it's not like intermittent fasting where you stay hungry for so long and then you not come and then you eat. It's not that. So parenting is not one of those things that you do in big doses and then you disappear and then you come back and do in another big dose and all of that. The children will like you. The children will be excited to have you, right? On the days that you show up to give your big doses. The children will be excited about you. But the truth is, you are not the programming that you're living with the children, that will be what they will depend on in the future to navigate, is not there. So all those big doses once in a while is going to leave your child disempowered. So parenting is one of those things, or one of those endeavors that we do in small droplets or small drops. So it's every day, showing up every day and dropping something every day. Hi Chidima, good to have you. All right, parenting is what you do every day, is an everyday thing. So when parents come into our mentor parent support program, I ask them, how much time do you have every day? And I promise you, when I ask parents this question, I do not expect to hear 2 hours, 1 hour. Because if you say that to me, I know that you accept there are very few parents who have 2 hours, 3 hours with their children, right, every day. Because when I'm asking you how much time do you have for your children, I'm not saying how much time do you have loitering around the house. I'm not saying much time do you have locked in your room. I'm not saying how much time do you have locked in your study, just being around in the home. I'm saying how much time do you have interacting, connecting working and being with your children. Meaning, in those times, you're either rolling on the floor playing with them, you're playing a game with them, you're working on a school project with them, you are listening to their challenges, you're listening to their stories, they are listening to your stories. I'm talking about the time that you have to engage effectively with your children. So I say to the parents, if you say to me 20 minutes, I am glad. Okay? If you say to me you have 20 minutes, I am glad. So I say to them, Bikonukwa, just go and do a commitment note. Do that commitment note that you, your child, your spouse, and your God are your witnesses. I mean, your spouse, your child, your God are your witnesses. Do that commitment note to yourself. And in that commitment note, I need you to say, I, Maribeth Chima, I want the best for my children. I am committed to support them 100%. As a result of that, I will connect with them for 20 minutes. If it is within my power, except an emergency, right? Or something like that comes up, I will connect with my children for 20 minutes every day. I promise you, parents, if you can commit to that commitment, if you can show up for 20 minutes every day for your children, and you have the right content, the right tool to show up with every day, such that in those 20 minutes, you are taking care, or you are touching on every aspect of their lives. In PTM, we like to call it the 8, focal areas of parenting for us. Okay, we bunch all that we do with our parents into 8 areas. So you're able to focus on their kingdom life, their belief system, their ideology, their love for God, their love for God, their connection with God. You're able to focus on that. You're able to focus on their self-management and time and self-management and home management. You're able to focus on the fact that your children, you're able to teach them in this 20 minutes, you are touching on each of these areas. It doesn't have to be every area every day, but basically for those 20, every time you're showing up in your children's life, basically quality 20 minutes. Yes, without pressing your phone. Thank you very much, Nima. You're not pressing your phone. You're not saying to them, wait, let me respond to you. You will drop your phone away and those 20 minutes. And then in those 20 minutes, you touch on kingdom life. In those 20 minutes at different times, kingdom life is taken care of. Home management, self-management. When we talk about self-management, we're talking about your sex conversation. You're talking about your self-conversation, integrity. Okay, how they take themselves, their self-esteem. You're building on all of that. You're looking at their leadership skills. Okay, you're looking at their interest and their talents, right? You're looking at their habit training. You're looking at all of these areas. So for every day that you show up, you are connecting with them. You're looking at their social quotient. You're looking at their emotional quotient. You're building all these different areas of your child's life. So for every day that you show up in those 20 minutes, you have content, or you have something that you're going to do with your children that will touch on, these areas at different points, so that you are consistent. It is more effective than the big doses for once a week, or the big doses for once in 2 weeks, or once in 2 months. All right. So yes, when parents come and they say, I really would like to join the program. I really would like to do much, but I really don't have time. I just look at them. I'm like, well, who? In my head, what I see is entitlement. Now, how is that entitlement? Yes, you get married at some point, or you get to a point and you say, okay, I am old enough, I'm ripe enough, I'm ready to have children. And then you go ahead and have children, right? Because you think it is your right. It is your right to have children. After all, you have everything that it takes physically, right, to have children. And so you have children. Then when you have children, you now decide, it's my child. I have my child. It's my child. It belongs to me, right? As some people will argue, how come you tell me that my child does not belong to me? My child is not my property. He's my child. He's my child. He's my child, like ownership kind of thing. I own the child, right? Now, we now own them, and we now decide, after you finish owning them, you now decide, I will show up for them as it is convenient for me. I will show up for them as I like. I will show up for them the day my job allows me to show up. I will show up for them when I'm not too busy. Okay? When you do that, you are entitled. You are entitled. And what does entitlement mean? It mean really. It means when you think that something is you, someone owes you something, or you have a right to something because you do. Basically, that's entitlement. You believe, this phone is my phone, right? I have a right to this phone. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I have a right to this phone. So when you feel you have a right to something because you do, that is being entitled. So yes, you believe that you have a right to have children. After all, I have all that it takes to have children. So therefore, it doesn't matter how I show up for them. It doesn't matter what I do for them. As it do me, that is how I will show up. Forgetting that your children are your first ministry. And you know why it is entitlement when you don't show up for your children 100% and you don't do everything that it takes to help these children live a balanced life, live their full life in their full potential. Okay, you don't help your children become everything God has created them to be. It is your responsibility. Do you know why? Because when you got into a relationship with this child, when you decided to bring a child forth, you did not ask the permission of the child. So it's different from your job. When you go for a job, you write, you apply for that job. You apply and then you make promises. When you get there, the establishment will say to you, okay, this is what we expect of you. This is your JD. And you will look at the JD and you will say, you know something? I agree, I accept, I can do as you have said. So can you see that there is agreement between you and this establishment? There's agreement with you and this person you're having a relationship with. There is an agreement, but with the child. So in that case, there are certain things you can decide not to do. After all, it wasn't on the JD. It wasn't on our agreement. We didn't have an agreement. Even in your marriage, you can be entitled in a marriage. You can't be entitled in a marriage because you can simply say, no, I did not sign up for this. One day it was just me and you, right? One day it was just you and I. And then the next moment you come and you bring a second and a third wife. No, I didn't sign up for this. So yes. I am entitled to my freedom. I'm entitled to have one spouse because this is the agreement that so that is not entitlement. That is my right. Because, hey, we didn't agree on this. Do you understand? In the case of your child, the child did not agree with you, people. The child didn't agree with you to come and be a part of your dynamics. The child did not agree with you to be a part of your life. Your children did not agree with you. You brought them into this dynamics on your own. So yes, Jamila, they are your first ministry. They are your first ministry, and so you will show up for them 100%. So yes, no excuse you make cuts it. There is no single excuse you make, dear parents, that cuts it. So yes, you can be entitled, but let me not dwell on being entitled as a parent. That's not why we're here. We're talking about our children being entitled. So I'm just going to go into it quickly. So let's look at some of the things that we do, or some of the things, the dynamics we have in our homes that breed entitled children with or without our intentions, right? Consciously or unconsciously. Number one, in a home where there is no show of affection, right? A home where there's no mutual show of affection between the partners. A home where mommy is the expressive one and daddy is really not expressive or hardly ever expressive, or the children do not see him as expressive. A home where the husband is the expressive one and the mom is the one who is always making the demands. Now, in that kind of home, you can actually be raising an entitled child without knowing it. Why do I say this? You have homes where the father comes in, is Alpha and Omega. So he comes in and everybody, daddy welcome, daddy welcome. Now, before daddy comes, everybody puts everything in place. Okay, you put everything in place. Daddy's coming, you know how it is. Nobody wants trouble and all of that. Now, even you as the mother, this is the kind of conversation that you have with your children. Your husband is coming, and instead of saying, hey, sweetie, it's a good thing to have, a tidy space, or while you're waiting for the husband to be coming, for your home to be tidy. Why do your children think that when mommy is around, they can do as they like? When daddy is coming, everybody should put themselves in under check. Now, when you are that kind of mother, or even if it's the other way around, when you are this kind of parent, you will be raising entitled children without knowing it. Because what happens is that spouse who is the alpha or omega and omega comes in, and when it comes in, food will show, everything will show. This person is up and down the place. This person is shaking when daddy is around, for instance. Okay, mommy is all over the place. She's shaking. She's doing this. She's doing that. Somewhere at the back of the mind of your children, your son is seeing it. Bingo, this is how it's going to be. When I have a wife, when I come, she'll be shaking all over the place because she'll be shaking all over the place. She'll have to do all these things will have to be in place when I come because I am the Lord of the house. So, guys, the man has generally, that child, even at age 12, is already entitled. Knowing that when the time comes, people will bow to his whims and caprices because he is Lord, because somewhere someone has raised him to be entitled. So you will realize sometimes they don't even have to wait till they get married. Your 17-year-old son, your 18-year-old son gets to a point and he begins to go around in the home with the air of the man of the home. So everybody should bow and shake and move because this is how people behave when men come forth. Basically, so without knowing it, you're already raising a young boy, okay, who is entitled, as a matter of fact. It's the same way. Your daughter already is seeing this as what life is supposed to be. So yes, she's getting set, right, to have the husband to accommodate the spouse, the husband, the partner, or even the boss or superior who is going to be entitled. So you see how we prepare or set our children up for failure or set them up for huge challenges just because knowingly or unknowingly we've raised them in an environment that portrays that certain people are supposed to be Lord and masters and other people are supposed to, shake and bow, at their whims and caprices. So at the end of the day, this is how these children view, life and the people, above basically, some people in their lives. So without knowing it, you're raising a child who is entitled. Okay. The other one, number 2 is, you could sit down there and you think you're doing your best as a parent, right? And your home is gender sensitive. If you raise a home that is gender sensitive, you're going to raise children who are entitled. What do I mean by gender sensitive? When you are in a home and there are certain things that the boys can do and the girls cannot do. Take a walk together, okay? When there are things that the boy can do in your home and the girl cannot do, there are things that the girl is entitled to and the boy is not entitled to. When you do that, when there is no gender blindness in your home, you begin to raise children who are entitled, right? So the boy generally believes it is not my responsibility, or it is not in my, it's not part of my responsibility to enter and cook any food. Cooking is a girl's job because somewhere along the line, you have packed all the girls into the kitchen when food needs to be made, and you have left out the boys when food needs to be made. So you have made your home a gender sensitive place such that your children think, right, that some people are supposed to do certain things and other people are not supposed to do the same thing. Right? You are in a home where your boys, some of us say those things and we say them with a lot of, my girl, I cannot joke with my girl. Everything she wants, I'm going to give it to her because she needs to understand that no man can come and flaunt anything in front of her. I will give her everything she wants. But my boy, I will not give. and all of those kind of things. What you are saying basically is that boys will not go after people who flaunt things around them. Is that what you're saying? But that's not true. So if you don't raise children who are content, if you don't raise children who can empower themselves, if you don't raise children who can, children who are self-reliant, it doesn't matter whether they are boys or they are girls, they will still follow, they will still run after anything that flashes around them. It's like a dog. When you have a dog, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you flash bone around the dog will go for the bone, isn't it? So basically, if you don't raise children to, if you raise children, and if you raise in your home, if you have an environment in your home that is gender sensitive, you're going to be raising children who are entitled, feeling this is for me because I'm a girl, and this is not for me because I am not a boy. The boy will be feeling this is for me because I'm a boy, and no, I don't go near this because I'm a boy. So the best way to raise children in your home is to make sure that there's gender blindness in your home. Make sure that there's gender blindness in your home. What goes for the boys goes for the girls, basically. This way, this way, as they grow, as children grow, as people grow, as children grow older, they will fit into their place. I promise you, they will fit into their place without you being the one who, starts those labeling and all of that. As they grow older, right, your son will learn, as he learns etiquette and he learns all of these things, your son will learn to get the door for his sister. My son actually gets the door. So when we get to school and they need to leave, when they get to school, my son actually will go. If the sister doesn't open the door, he will go and open the door for her. When they are leaving school, as soon as she gets into the car, he actually shuts before, he will actually close the door before he goes to take his own seat. Okay? With time, they will learn to be gentlemen and they will learn to be ladies. But let your home not be the place where your girls don't do certain things just because they are girls. Your boys don't do certain things just because they are boys. Let your home be a place that is no gender biasness. Basically, it is blind, to gender and all of that. So that's another way that we can be raising entitled children without knowing it. Number 3, very, very, very key. Okay? Number 3, very key. If you do not raise children who do chores, if your children are not introduced to doing chores in your home, if your children wake up in the morning and they don't wake up with a sense of responsibility, no human being that is able to work, right? No human being that is able to make sense of A plus B, 1 plus 1 equal 2. No human being that is able to recognize that there is mommy, there is daddy, there is water, there is food. No human being that can reason to an extent should wake up in the morning without a sense of responsibility. So yes, your 2-year-old should wake up with a sense of responsibility. And that responsibility usually begins with you giving them chores. Teach your children to wake up in the morning knowing that there is something that I have, that I carry, that people depend on. Raise your children to know that there are things that only I can deliver to the world. The only way your child will begin to feel that way, feel like I am a solution, I am a savior, I bear solutions, the world needs me. Okay, the only way your child will get to that point is when, right from your home, right from when they were 1.5, 18 months, they already feel like people need me. When your little son knows that if I don't wipe the surface is going to be dirty. So it's going to be dusty. So he knows that they need me. They need me in my home. They need me in my team to dust that table. So this morning I was in the hospital with my son. Okay, we went to school and then we had to go to the hospital and all of that. Now he also has his end of term. He has his end of school year presentation today, where they present all that they've learned throughout the term and all of that. So every student has like an area, okay, that they are covering in their presentation. Now, This is him. He woke up this morning and he wasn't well. And of course, we couldn't ignore it. We had to do what we had to do. So I was hoping that, okay, we will get in there, finish what we have to do, rush back, and we'll finish up and all of that. Now he says to me, I don't want to go. Right? I don't want to go. I would rather let me deliver what I have to deliver first and all of that. I'm a part of a team. If I'm not there, there will be a gap in that team. For me, it was like, you first, life first, health first, isn't it? Health first and all of that. So on that premise, and like, we have to do what we have to do, okay, based on what's is on ground. So of course we went. But in my head somewhere, I'm like, 2 hours. In 2 hours, we'll be able to do this, okay, and still get back. But as we were there, it was becoming obvious that, it won't work. But you could see he was visibly concerned. And his concern was not that he needed to deliver this. His concern was that he was going to be he was going to be the bridge, or he was going to be the missing link in the team. It took me calling his teachers, to say to them, this is it, and the teacher saying, something, his classmates will feel up. It's okay, it will work, we will do it somehow, and all of that. It took me doing that, okay, and explaining and saying to him, this is what they said, for him to say, oh well, that's okay, but it's just that I have a part. But then again, we had a conversation. I'm like, this first, okay, who knows, okay, eventually. We were able to make one part. He missed some other part of the presentation. But, because I realized how important it was to him. Because I realized that for him, this was an obligation. This was a responsibility. He wanted to keep up to this responsibility. So I made it happen. At some point, I had to ask the doctor, okay, can you just excuse us? I mean, she had finished examining and doing everything. She was writing a report, was supposed to wait there. And I'm like, can I come back in the evening and all of that? And I said to her, just so that we're able to do so. And she thought, oh, by all means and all of that. Then you should see us. Don't worry, we didn't beat any traffic lights. But hey, I drove differently, from how I would drive on a normal day. But basically, it is what it is. So your children need to wake up. Children need to wake up with a sense of responsibility. I am responsible for something. It's the same thing. If you know how I got in here to be on this stream right now, because it's all, I had to make up my mind. Should I stay for his presentation, or do I run to go and show up here and all of that? But then again, he is my first ministry. And so I stayed there. It meant so much to him to come back for that presentation. Thank goodness he was able to meet the last one, even though he wasn't able to do all the other ones. But hey, he met the last one. And I thought I owed it to him to be there to witness what he wanted to do, even in his 60s. Okay? So yes, children have to wake up that way, not just in their schoolwork, because sometimes the chances that we will see them want to show up when it has to do with school and things like that. But when it has to do with family, when it has to do with themselves, when there's that thing that we do as human beings. When it is you have to show up for yourself. It's easy for you to just throw it away and be like, we know how to trivialize ourselves a lot of the times. Provided it's me. It's the same reason when there's someone, mothers, you know what I'm talking about. When the husband or the children are at home, you will cook nice meals. When it is only you will drink garri, you will eat noodles, you will chop nonsense because it is just you. Because if you do this, you are going to teach your children entitlement mentality. Please don't. So anyway, that's by the way. But basically, we need children to wake up in the morning knowing that they have a responsibility. So if your children at 2 begin to wake up knowing that if I don't have water, if I don't have the bottle of water into the fridge, if I don't load the washing machine, if I don't dust the surfaces, then that's gap. I will be the missing link in the team. They need to wake up feeling that way. As they grow older, the chore would increase to other things, right? Now, I have talked about saving your children a lot of the times. Add the gender sensitivity and then add this one. A lot of times, as parents, we do this, especially with our male children. We know how to save our boys for Africa. Before you know it, you have made excuses why he cannot. You have made excuses why he cannot this, why he cannot that, why he cannot. Before you know it, is these children, our male children, are growing up entitled. So that's why you see men that feel everybody owes them. They feel their mothers owe them. They feel their wives owe them. It even gets to the point you will see fathers who wake up in the morning, come back late in the evening and harass their girl children. Will you go and do this for me? Will you go and, because you're just entitled. It's the reason you will get out. I mean, the whole world is coming back home at 8, at 7, and 9. You will come back at 2 a.m. and you will still insist that another human being wakes up and gives you food to eat. This is entitlement. Okay? We're Africans. We have come to accept a lot of these things. It doesn't mean that it is okay. In other climes, when you come at 2, you will fix yourself something if you need it. In my home, if you come at 2, you will fix yourself something if you need it, if you have to come at 2. Okay, but no, we do these things. Sometimes we will even wake our children. How would they wake up? How would they wake up? Let me see. How would they wake up to responsibility when house help? Exactly. Okay. How would they wake up to responsibility when house help has finished everything? Be co-parents. I know. I don't even want to be that spoiler that will come here and say helps are not important. I don't want to say that. No, if you need a help, because I am a proponent for avoiding overwhelm in whatever you are doing. So no, I didn't say don't have a help. But whether you have a help or not, have a responsibility for each of your children. Let each of your children have a responsibility, okay, that they wake up to, okay, no matter what happens. I have a housekeeper who comes to work 7 days of the week, but when she comes, she doesn't touch the things that belong to my son. He would have to do what he has to do. Please, we need to distinguish some of these things. We need to make sure that there's what the children see as their personal responsibility, and they do this. So when your children have chores, your children would know that they won't be entitled. It's that household thing. When the household does everything, is the reason your child gets to school, opens his lunchbox and is like, look at what this house help packed for me. Look at what my this packed for me. Your 12-year-old gets to school and is in shock as to what is in his lunchbox, because this is what this person, when I get home, I'm so upset with her. I'm so upset with her. I'm saying this because I've been in the classroom, right? I'm saying this because I've been in the classroom. How 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds will come. How you will see a 10-year-old wearing mixed socks, and you will ask, did you not see that this I didn't know. That's what my house help gave me. In this part of the world, especially, we do it so much. I don't know what it is that we tell ourselves. Whether we're the ones that are rich, or whether it's ajebotaness, or I don't know what it is. My friend just went for a tournament with her son, a football tournament with her son, and they came back recently. And she was telling me how, oh my goodness, when they got there, they just realized that we're not ready. That we're just lying to ourselves in this part of the world. She told me how the team, these children from other teams from South America, teams from around Europe, the children were doing everything by themselves. And she said it was only the Nigerian parents. Yes, so it was Nigeria that you had all the parents there present. Some of this team, they didn't even have their parents around them. You couldn't even see the parents around you. It was the Nigerian parent that would go and check. And do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? They were all over the place. This is what we are doing. We raise children as if these children are going to be tied to our aprons forever. And you know the shocking thing about it? Then all of a sudden they are 16 and we begin to go to one church, one mosque, one prayer house after the other, praying for our children. Prayer now, of course, now they don't even help matters by telling us, oh, the favorite prayer of a mother. I'm not saying it's not true. I know that is my mother's prayer that kept me. It's my mother's prayer that kept me. Very true. But sometimes these things, when we say them, we create mindset blocks for our children. That's the reason our children don't think they should do anything for themselves. Some of them don't even think they should pray for themselves. So they go about bragging how it is my mother's prayer that is keeping me. Even me, I know. Okay, so some of these things that we portray, we are not helping our children. Yes, so our Nigerian parents here, form a lot. It's our work. It's our work. We will just be forming all over the place. Meanwhile, these people are the ones that have everything. These people are the ones that their children have never known lower standards. Whether you are even in Nigeria, whether you are rich or poor, low standards would have met you at some point. Whether it's on the road, in the hospital, low standard would have met you no matter how rich you are. Low standard will force itself on your face in this country. In Africa, low standard will force itself to your face. No matter how rich you are, you will still go on those roads with huge and big gallops and all of that. Your child will still go like this when he's driving in a car, rich or not rich. So somehow you will still walk or pass or drive through some streets that are smelly, rich or poor. But these are people that some of them have never seen, the level of low standard that we see. Yet they still think that there is a place of children being responsible, fixing breakfast for themselves, doing this for themselves, taking care of their rooms, doing all of these things. Dear parents, you're raising entitled children if you don't allow your children manage themselves, manage their spaces, manage their homes, and all of that. You will be raising entitled children. Let's go fast. Number 4. Is this number 3 or number 4? Number 4. If you do not set boundaries, if you don't set boundaries, if you don't have structures in your home, you don't set boundaries, you don't agree on things with your children, even while they are young, you're going to be setting them up for entitlement. The reason your 12-year-old, your 13-year-old has the guts to come to you and say to you, Lagbaja has iPhone. What's the latest one? I don't even know the latest one. The reason your child has the impetus to come to you and say that Lagbaja has iPhone, whatever, this person has that person has that, so therefore I should have. It's because you've not set boundaries. It's because the children don't know what is obtainable. Because the children don't know, you don't have any policy on ground, you don't have boundaries on ground, you have not agreed on these things. And hey, you can't blame the children, but what do we see or what do we hear around? When you have conversations, the next thing you hear are children of these days, they are so spoiled. Now, usually what I follow with that statement when it comes to a parent, I will ask, parents of these days, what are they? Because really, who is raising the children of this day? Because when we want to talk about them, it's like Nigeria, where a government official will say, the road track is like this because the government refused to give us money to do it. Who is the government? So when the government begins to refer to some other entity as the government, you go tire. Me, I tire. Right? So it's the same thing. When you, okay, when you are, I've even lost my line of thought when I went to the government and no government. All right, so basically, if as a parent, yes, okay, I was talking about conversations. Then when we're not having conversations with our friends or in a group or wherever, you will not hear also, we that are the parents of the Gen Z and Alpha generation, right? You will not hear us say things like, these children of these days, they are so spoiled, they are so this, they are so that, this one, that one, this one, that one. This is how parents talk. Then you will not ask the parents, who is raising these children of nowadays? Are you guys saying that God has lowered his standard and he's creating lower kinds of human beings? Is that what we're saying? Or are we saying that we live in an environment, or we live at a time where, are we agreeing that we live at a time where we are not fit to parent the kind of people that we are raising, or the kind of people that we're giving birth to, right? Are we saying that the environment is has evolved so much that we are lost in it? So if you are lost, why are you bringing people to come and make them even more lost than you are? So if you're going to parent right now, you will make up your mind. You see this environment, I'm going to study it. I'm going to know it. I'm going to understand it. And I'm going to help my child thrive in this environment. And you can't do that without being intentional, isn't it? So that's what it is. So yes, if you do not have boundaries, if you don't have what is acceptable in your home, if you don't agree on these things, you will raise children who are entitled. Your children will wake up and make demands of you. Your children will wake up and revolt when you tell them you can do this and you can't do that. That is because at the point where these things did not matter, you did not make them a standard. You don't have a standard. You don't have what is acceptable in your home. Your values are not in place. Your children do not understand the values. Even when you talk about it or you act like you have values, your children cannot see it. So it is not authentic to them. So I say to you, write down your values, put them up, review those values every now and then. Talk to your children about it. Let your children educate you about how they understand the values you have as a family. Let your values be a part of your everyday conversations. Now, create other things like your media plan. What is acceptable where media is concerned in your home? Are your children going to have phones by the time they are 10? Are they going to have phones by the time they are 12? Agree on this when your children are 4. Agree on this when your children are 6. Agree on this, let them know. Are your children going to start dating when they are 10? Are your children going to have boyfriends when they are 12? Agree on this early enough and do the needful. Inform them, give them reasons why. And hey, I did not say force it on your children. Agree with your children, okay? Agree with your children, but whatever stage or whatever level you agree that this will hold, make sure that you equip them for that time. And that equipment is not what will happen when they are 6 months to that time. That equipment is, or that empowerment is what will happen 2, 3, 4 years before that time. Okay, so when you don't have boundaries, your children will be all over the place and they will be entitled. So they will wake up and want a car when they are 18. I'm 18, I'm an adult. There are 5 cars in the house. I need to have one. And then you will get into trouble with your children, fighting up and down. They will report you to Uncle A, they will report you to Uncle B. Then they will not have that uncle that will not come. What is wrong with you now? You have 4 cars in the car. Don't give one to the boy now. His friends all have those kind of conversations. His friends all drive cars now. Is it not you that sent him to that school? Everybody has car. Can you see? Doyin's mother just gave her a car. Chinedu's father just gave him a truck. This person just bought him a plane. You will hear those kind of nonsense. Your children will continuously bring these things to your face because you did not make up your mind. Okay? Because you don't do this. The other one is financial. Oh my goodness. Let me sit down and tell you about this one. The next one, number 5, number 6, I don't even know, I've lost track. So number 6, the next one is financial empowerment. If you don't empower your children financially, if you don't empower your children financially and do it as early as possible, your children will be entitled. Your children will call you, right? Your children will call you when their dress tears. Your children will call you when they need to make their hair. Your children will call you when they need to make their hair. Your children will call you for every tiny little silly thing because you have not empowered them financially. By the time no child should go to a university. No child should leave your home and go to the university, go to college, leave the shores of your nation, leave the doors in your room to a university without a skill. Parents, it does not make sense. Every child should be empowered to take life wherever, as far as your child is a teenager. Your child should be able to take on life when it comes to their finances, or take on life to an extent. Do you understand? Your child should be able to fill in the gaps. Your child should be able to, be like have like what will I call it now? Your intermediate plan. Your child should be able to fill in for some time, even when you are not there. It's irritating when you're 20-year-old, you're 24-year-old, it's calling you for every tiny little silly thing because you have not empowered them financially. I don't understand why let me not even go there, right? Why are you even paying for your child? If you've empowered your child well,
You shouldn't be paying fees for your child to do a master's degree. You should have empowered your children so much. I mean, the first degree is understandable. Okay, you're a parent, you want to educate your child. You want to be the one to send them to school, right? So your child, I mean, you send them. Why are you the one sending your child for a master's degree? Why can't your child, right, take care of their master's degree? It's because we have not empowered them. I'm not saying go and stop doing that if you're already doing that. After all, did you empower them? If you don't empower them, you don't have any, you shouldn't complain. Go and be paying. Be paying, please, be paying. Okay? No child should go to college without having a skill. A skill, better still, if it's something they can do with their hands and from their head. This is what we do with the children in the mastermind program. We want the children to start. We don't want the children to start initiating their tasks, make decisions for themselves. And part of the curriculum for the mastermind program is that every child is going to identify one area where they have their interest, they have a talent, or they have a skill. And we're going to help them on it. It's the same thing with the course that we're starting next month, right? The raising financially smart children. In that course, for the first 20 parents who will register, we need to even check if we've filled up already. Okay, for the first 20 parents who would register for that course, we'll have a 2-week, what you call it, a workshop, call it a boot camp, but it's online for one of your children. You give us one of your kids, and we would work with them to identify their strong thing, to identify their talent or skill or something that they're interested in. We will help the children begin to see areas where they can begin to connect with that thing, areas where they can begin to hone that thing. Okay, we will be working with you in collaboration with your children in those 2 weeks to identify, right? To launch into that thing. Your child is a brand. Okay, we're talking about branding also. We're talking about portfolios in that course. It's just 10,500 naira. But if I tell you what is embedded in that course, by the time you are done with that course, even you will know that something happened to you. And it will trickle down to your children, because while you're taking the course as a parent, your children have activities that you'll be doing with your children, that you would understand where they're at, and you can help to launch them based on what it is that they're interested in. And then the honing will continue from there. And then we would actually be there to monitor and to be accountability partners with you and your child in that course for a bit. It is robust. We're going to be with you for 2 weeks after you finish taking that course. That course you're going to take on your own is going to be in our education platform, where you go and you take it at your pace, okay, and all of that. We have 3 experts, right? We have 3 experts taking that course. I will be there as your expert child motivator. Go ask the parents in the mentor parent program. Don't worry, I'm better with kids than I'm even with parents. You don't know that about me, right? Kids are like they're like, the way you swim. For me, working with preteens, working with children between 8 and 13 is like swimming in water for a fish. That's what it is. I don't know how to even judge them. I don't judge no child. No, my friends, I've fallen out with some of my people that are close to me just because I won't join them to judge their children. All right? I have become closer to other people who understand, just because I won't allow you get the peace that you get from dumping all of your responsibility and all of your shortcomings on a child. So you know how we just go about as parents feeling cool about ourselves, because we can easily say it's the child that has a problem. All right, so basically this is what is going on in that course. So if you're not registered for the course, I don't know, you better run and go and register for that course so that you get this opportunity for your child. All right, Coach, what's for our younger children? For your younger children, we can start having these conversations. It's mindset. It's a lot of mindset work. Remember, parenting is programming. So for the little ones, let's start programming. My daughter just turned 7, so she's joining the mastermind. She's on probation. So she's joining her first meeting this Sunday. She's on probation and all of that. But before now, she's always hung around. Before now, she's always done, here and there, things here and there, basically, just as programming. So programming is very, very key in parenting. Okay. So that's it. So give your children financial literacy. Let your children begin to learn how to make, manage, and multiply money. Let your children learn the foundation, the foundation of financial literacy. Let them begin to learn those small things. I have shared a free book. I put my heart in that book. Please go and download and start there as your first layer of financial literacy. My son is 12 and he runs two or three practices that of business and all of that he wakes up with three different responsibilities at the back of his mind every day. Three. And I'm not saying he's not doing badly in school. No, he isn't doing badly in school. And I'm not saying this is resting on his head like, no, we're here to support him. But he wakes up every day with three responsibilities at the back of his mind. He knows that he needs to ace in school. So he wakes up knowing that I need to do well in school. Right. He wakes up knowing that he has a business. He knows that he needs to make sales. He knows that he needs to record his accounts. He needs to balance his accounts. He knows that he'll be accountable to me at the end of the week. And he knows that he'll be accountable to his father, who happens to be both our accountability partner, right? At the end of the month, we're going to pass our accounts. We're going to submit our accounts for the month to him. And he doesn't like to look bad. He doesn't like to look like he doesn't know what he's doing, especially when he's dealing with his father. So he likes to have that manly conversation. Okay, the first week we had our product was more expensive. Oranges this is not the season, so oranges are better. He's having these kind of conversations already. It is not in the 5K, 8K, 10K, 12K profits per week as much as it is in those conversations, the lessons going on, the seeds that we're sowing, the programming that we are doing. It's not. At the end of this year, he's going to have his financial coach fully, or his financial, they call them, where he will be investing with this person. Look, they'll be looking at not his dad. They'll be looking at investment possibilities, what will work, what will not work, and all of that. That's the goal. That is the goal at the end of this financial year. Investment at a high level. Warren Buffett he started to invest. He bought his first stock when he was 10, 11. What are we talking about? Today, Warren Buffett is the most successful investor in the world. What are we talking about? You cannot take the place of starting early. If you want to debate this, go and ask Serena Williams about starting early. The reason that the world has found it so difficult to replace these people is because they started early. Parenting advantage, the early advantage, right? The early start advantage, all the mistakes will be made early. So by the time they are in their teen, they are solid. They're solid. I can leave any Excel document for my son to balance for me and move. I can leave no, let's not even go there. But basically, parents, what am I saying? A child that is empowered will stand out. It is not bragging. It's not bragging. Now, when you brag is when you wake up and you say, when you brag is when you wake up and you say, my child is very brilliant. He has never taken second in his life. Have you ever heard me say anything about my children's academic results? I don't talk about those things. He came first in the start. You hear this kind of thing, came second. Have you ever seen me? Have you ever seen their report card? My children, we just came back from school. The children, no, it's not my thing. I'm not saying you can't do it. Do it if it's your thing. But I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell you the work that we put into helping them. And I'm going to tell you about the results that work is producing, okay, that may not be so great, that may not be so huge. I'm going to talk about the journey with you so that you would understand that this journey is possible and you can begin to take this journey because you understand it's possible. It is not because they are smart. No, I have never come to say any of my children is smart, intelligent. No, I don't say that. But hey, I will come here and I will say it over and over again that a child that is empowered, a child that you support 100%, a child that you allow to start early will be focused and will begin to get baby steps, will begin to take baby steps, and will begin to see baby step results. Period. Any child can write. My son has this book. He wrote this book 100% on his own. He wrote this book. Now, he did not write this book because he's a very intelligent boy. No, he wrote this book because he journaled. He journaled right from when he was 6. So he started journaling at age 6. So when he was 10, he was able to put his journal together and create a book. That has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with the work being put and then results coming out of the work. Period. If he didn't have a journal, he probably wouldn't think of this book, right? Because this is not, Akin went to school, he bought it. No, anybody can create a story like that. This is like real life, putting it together and talking about the journey of a child and using it to empower another. Do you understand? By the way, this book, you can actually buy this book. It's just 3,000 naira, an amazing book for any child to read and see the journey that other children have made. In this book, he talked about his weaknesses, how he struggled with public speaking, how he struggled with writing, how he struggled with this, struggled with social skills and all of that, and how he was helped. How he was helped by us, how he was helped by his mentors, how he was helped by the people in his life, how he was mentored by another child, and all of that. No, it is not bragging. It is our weakness. We're not ashamed to come out with our weaknesses and tell you how we have grown through those weaknesses or through identifying those weaknesses. Okay, so that is it. Is that the size of the package for today? So yes, financial literacy, you need to give that to your children. I talked about financial literacy. I talked about the kind of relationship you have with your spouse. Will teach your children how to be entitled or not to entitlement. Now, I think the solutions are embedded in all of this that I'm saying. Even as I'm saying it, I'm sure you're picking the solutions. You have children need to do chores. So if your children don't have chores, please let them do chores. If you don't know what kind of chores to give your children, please ask me in the comments. I would look at the comments later and I would respond to you. But by all means, your children should do chores. Okay, it's something I didn't say. Children need to be engaged. Your children need to be engaged. The chores will engage them. Their interests will engage them. Okay, their interests will engage them, the chores will engage them, you being a part of their schoolwork, getting them to study, part of that structure that I'm talking about. So when your child is not studying, your child is probably reading a book for leisure. Leisure reading, very important. Okay, your child is not studying, he's reading a book for leisure. When he's not reading a book for leisure, your child is playing outside, which is very vital for every child. Okay, when your child is not playing outside, your child is doing something of his interest. Your child is creating something of value that he's going to give out because you have taught him about financial literacy and financial education and all of that. So he's creating something that someone needs in his environment. That period that he's creating, your child is engaged. If you don't engage your children will be entitled. They will tell you 1,000 times that they are bored. I am bored. I am bored. And what do they expect? They expect you to feel their boredom. And how do you feel their boredom? Yay! But see parents, take them, put them in the car, go and buy them pizza. What do you do? Oh, Netflix is expired. What do you call it? What do you call it now? You resubscribe so they can watch a movie. They are bored and they're not supposed to watch TV during the week. Okay, just gonna watch something on Netflix and leave me. That's how you feel their boredom because you've not empowered them. So when you empower them, they're either studying or they are writing a book or my daughter writes books for leisure. Because see, these are my daughter's books. So this is dad's book. Oh, do you know what time it takes to write this book? She will sit down here for 3 hours. She's writing. Do you know the time that it even takes to design? You know the time that it even takes to use her scissors and make these cuts, these marks on this book just to get it the way she likes it. And then the time it takes to now do the illustrations in this book, she will now draw. Do you know the time it now takes to now come and start coloring all of these illustrations? Basically, all of this is how you engage your child. So no, I said to my children, oh, sorry, honey, it's not my responsibility to feel your boredom. It's not your responsibility. It's because you don't engage your children. That's why your children feel that you are the one that is responsible for filling out their boredom. That's it. That's my 6-year-old at the time. So yes, when she's bored, oh sweetie, why don't you go and create another edition of your series? So she goes and then she creates, and I told you, and I said the 4 of them, super readers. The first edition is what? My eyes these days. The 4 seasons. The second edition is Ella and the Magic Forest. The next one is Toys. The next one is the something something king. And she's writing. So these are okay. I can't see the 4th one, but she has 4 in the series. Before you know it, she's going to have 10. So when they are like this, they won't come to you and be telling you, I'm bored. It's not it's entitlement that your child feels you should fill out their boredom every time. Okay, so dear parents, this is the package for today. Thank you very much. I hope that I have convinced you that, hey, you are part of the reason. You are 90% of the reason why your child is entitled. Because chances are you are entitled also. That's why you feel you don't have time to be there to support them to do more than they are doing right now. That's why you don't have the time to help them identify what they love to do, what they enjoy doing, what they are good at, and then give them time to hone and expand in that area, and so begin to fill their time with these things so that they can engage themselves. Engaged children do not become entitled. It is children who are idle that are entitled. It is children who do not know how to do things for themselves that are entitled. It's children who do not know how to create their own wealth that are entitled. It's children who do not know how to multiply that become entitled. It's children who do not know how to manage their wealth that become entitled. No wonder you're 40-year-old, you are still bailing your 40-year-old every time. You pay half the school fees of their children. You pay this, you do that for them. And then, of course, you have the perfect excuse. It's because entitlement a lot of the times, more than any other thing. I'm not saying there are other factors that don't come up, but I want each of us to be parents who, when other factors come out, we can really say for sure and believe it in our hearts and know it, that it's other factors that came up, not because we raised children who are entitled. Thank you very much for being here. I don't know about your questions. Let's see if I have any. Please, Coach MB, advice chore for a 4-year-old. I'll talk to you, Jamila, straight up. All right, so we'll talk. Great insight. Thank you very much, Uche. Good to have you, sweetie. Chidema, thank you so much for being here powerfully. You're always here powerfully. How can one achieve all this when daddy is not working together with you? I've said this many times, okay? Sometimes my husband did not work together with me from the very beginning. He caught the bug along the line. Face front, as they say it. Face your lane, as they say it. Do your thing. See, they will get convinced. Your results will convince anybody. The results will convince even the devil. That's the truth about it. So focus on your focus. At this point, your children are your focus. Focus on your focus. First of all, start with their behavior. Make sure that their behavior is so tight. Their habits are so tight that they don't get in daddy's way. When there's less friction and less negative energy in the home, you will realize that daddy will see results happening. And before you know it, he may not say it with his mouth, but he will become a believer. It's a matter of time. Everything is time. Okay, seed time, harvest time. So even with your spouse, there's seed time and harvest time, but there's no result that trumps the result that is glaring. Okay, thank you. I hope that answered your question. So let's see, doing chores. All right, so just so we don't drag this for too long, we're going to look at these questions again, even after this session. Just check in the group, okay, and you will get some responses there, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Christabel, if you see any question, you can point at it and then we can answer those questions later. So thank you for everyone who had time to join us. If you want to register, if you want to be a part of raising financially smart children, I promise you, this is not the course that you want to miss. It's it's an empowering course. We have an investor, someone who works with old people, young people, someone who is invested, that's been an investor for over 2 decades, someone that sleeps investments, that can begin to talk to you and talk to you and allow your children say it's mindset, it's planting season, it's programming. We need to let our children begin to understand that certain things are possible. So there are a lot of possibilities, there are a lot of great things around us. The thing is, if you don't know what to look for, then you will not be looking for it. And because you're not looking for it, you will not find answers. And so you would think that these things don't exist. It is the reason people will say this person does this, that person does this, my children cook food, and another person like Kuchwendi would say, her children, I mean, I had to borrow that from her. Parenting is about looking around you. What are other people doing that is working? Try it out. It could work for you. Okay, at the point my son was doing a lot of other things, but we were not cooking. The moment I started seeing her, okay, the children cook the job, I'm like, okay, we could try this. And we did, and it's a matter of months. My son caught the first time he caught chips. I'm like, oh my goodness. None of us in my home cut potatoes as good as my son cuts potato. And this was like COVID. This was like 2020 when he was 10. Okay, so you need to, if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll be all over the place. Okay, so financial literacy is something every child should have. By the time children are 7, they've already formed their financial habits based on what they've learned from you. All those your money, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that, this one, that, and you see this one, who give them that money? And that is all these Abuja girls, they follow men now. This one pass. All those things, they're already forming the child's financial mindset. They're already forming their mindset. Blueprints you're forming already. And by the time they are 7, you don't even know. But your child is that one that will get into the store, blow every 1 naira he has, and walk away. You don't know it because your child is not even interacting with money. So you don't even know that this is his part of his financial blueprint. All right, so parents, this is it. So if you want to be a part of that course, just send us a message on our phone numbers that is always everywhere in the group, okay? Or just put it right here in the comments and we will respond to you immediately. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for being a part of what we do here. We do not take it for granted. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your parenting journey. Have a blessed rest of the week and a lovely weekend starting tomorrow. My name is Maribeth Shima, always excited to share knowledge, experiences, and most importantly, how we can support your child with you, support your children with you, even while we are on this journey also. And that was what makes it good because we're on the journey together. So we're not telling you to do anything that we're not practicalizing. We're not telling you to do. In fact, we can't even talk here and not do because it becomes double standard. So thank you for being here because in doing this with you, I'm reminded not to forget to do it for me and for my children also. Have a blessed day. Bye.